Are we back? We do have that going off. We do have something going off. We have some sign of life. We have some kind of confirmation. But I'm gonna wait for you guys to reply. If you can see me, hear me all right, it's not buffering, can you type 708, please? Hopefully it is working. Wow, okay, we have 2 votes. Okay, I saw your comment, by the way, Crazy Horse. Carrying Bandit home. I saw that before you retracted it. I thought it was funny. I don't know why you retracted it. Okay, anyways, let's get into it. Thank you all for tuning in. You guys, oh my. Yes. We have more than the full moon here on our plate. We have sneaky. No, just guided. The universe guides you where you know, if I wasn't meant to see that, I wouldn't have seen it, but I was for some reason guided to see it. Anywho's, let's get into it. Love and light to everybody here. Thank you so much for tuning in. You know who sneaky is? Bandit. Okay. Now, friend number few, let's clear it down. No, he's a really good boy. Not that sneaky, you know, not necessarily equates to, you know, a bad boy or whatever. Or a bad, you know, it's just a matter, I'm getting the charger. It's just a matter of perspective. But, what's going on, you guys? Okay, I'll let you answer. We got a lot going on here. We're preparing, boy. I wanted to kind of do a wild round reading. I felt like we did get through the signs, but I wanted to jump on. The energy's been really beaming. It's been very strong build up here. Very strong build up to the full moon in Taurus, and there could be major history here. There could be extreme sort of also tendencies. I don't know what that's alluding to. Interestingly, given that actually Taurus is ruled by Venus, which is all about balance, right? Venus balance, 7th house, partnerships. Love, art, harmony, beauty, the senses, getting in touch with the senses, and then it's like this extreme energy. So, you know, take it as you will, but it will depending, you know, on where also Taurus resides in your birth chart and where that energy sort of operates. Now, let's jump into it. Okay, I'm hearing we've waited long enough. I'm hearing it in this way, so yeah. Let's jump into it. But yes, more than just like, you know, Taurus energy and that is culminating in the full moon. It's everything along for the ride that comes with us here, and we have to also bring that to attention. I'm hearing that way, and I don't know what this will lead to for everyone, but like, let's just say in this way, you know, first of all, what comes through around this time is not random. It's always going to be, you know, this emanation of what has been building. Theo, do you like the shirt? You know, I saw like a few times, I was like, I something about it, and then I ended up. So anyways, okay, for number review, there is maybe something that is, yes, well, in a general way, this is building. I'm hearing cocktails. I don't know what that's alluding to. It could be a particular message. Now, coming through right there, and I'm hearing eye masks. Okay, now, for a number of you though, like, again, like, this is not, can you guys see me like this? No. This is not random, right? So what does come through on this time, as intense as it may be, is, again, that sort of point of you know, can we say boiling, where we say, well, okay, like, whatever's on the stove, okay, was, I'm hearing also hunted at a certain point in time. Wow, very interesting. So it's like, you know, what we do experience is not, again, just like random. Like we also have I'm hearing our conscious sort of interpretation. So I don't know what that's linked to, but it's all, again, perspective. But what I'm getting for an overview is as well that you know, everything is also at play to a certain degree. Let's say, you know, we have here the full moon in Taurus. It's not just, you know, Taurus, it's actually everything, but it's just the manner in which everything is brought forward at this particular time. So in other words, it's like, you know, you don't like sort of scaffold parts of the sky, just because let's say we have a full moon in Taurus, we have every constellation at play in some way. And that's why, for example, like if if someone comes and says, well, I am a sun sign Leo, and I'm Leo, and I rep Leo, and I'm Leo this, Leo that, it's like, okay, but then you could also have like 5 planets in the 8th house, and you could be freaking hella Scorpio. Okay, or you could have like your Venus exalted in Pisces, and you have a really strong Venus, you have a really strong also Amazon the archetype of Pisces. So like it always depends how every element which is in the chart is at play. And I know that might be kind of like roar what, but I believe la la. I mean, I don't know what that's going to do, but like, okay, and it's coming through here. It's like, there might be things that you feel, and it might be something you're conscious of where you're like, I have glazed over this, and I know it's something that I want to clearly lay out. Now, for a number of you, it could be in the way of saying, the full moon is a point where things are brought out. It's the highest peak of energy flow. So naturally, what was sort of also there to begin with, maybe lurking in the subconscious as well, is brought to the surface. So on some conscious level, I'm hearing as well, you might have been aware of whatever this is that does come forward, but it's just the way in which it's carried forward now that makes it more, I'm hearing also, deliberate. Wow, very interesting. In the way that you define it. Wow. So, I don't know, let's clear the energy. It depends on, again, how you take it. I'm seeing a very strong Plutonian energy here around this full moon in Taurus. I haven't really looked all too closely at the details of what will be sort of in configuration around that particular time of the full moon when it exactly sets, but I am feeling very strong Plutonian energy. I'm also, we're a sun sign. Okay, we are in Sun in Scorpio season. We just actually trailed out of Mercury and Scorpio as well back into Libra. Okay, one last time. Okay, we're reviewing also maybe things that we had. I'm hearing we had to find as Mercury retrograde as well. Mercury's like, talk about me and how I'm retrograde too. Okay, we will. We saw you kind of in your audition at the beginning of this video, Mercury. Okay, we're clearly trying to also make up. I'm hearing with someone here. I don't know what that's going to, but let's clear it and we'll get to that. But yeah, so what were we talking about? Libra, things that maybe you have already defined. It's not like, oh my god, I wasn't aware of it, and like suddenly like surprise, like I'm a person that I know now. I don't know what that's going to, or that I don't know now. It's like you may have already actually in some way worked with this concept to find it again in some kind of way. However, there has yet to be, I'm hearing, a new manner in which you hold that. I'm hearing that viewpoint. I don't know what that's alluding to. I'm hearing mayonnaise or ketchup. Hurry, tell me to hurry. Where are we at with that? I'm hearing that for a number of you now. I don't know what that's alluding to. Take it as you will. But for a number of you, hey Audrey, how interesting. Yes, no, you finished your homework literally right before. Interesting. Okay, so for a number of you, yeah, there are things that maybe you feel like, I have to thoroughly take a look at this. And it can be an aspect of your chart, actually. I find that the moon cycle is a beautiful time to introspect, actually, even if it is the full moon. Just because things become, they're drawn out. Now, for a number of you, I'm hearing ladies, all of the ladies, let's clear it. Someone is trying to get someone's attention. Now, again, this could be on a metaphorical level. Well, 11 right there. Okay. It could be the universe as you feel it. And what is the universe, right? It's all kind of reflective. But for a number of you, yeah, I'm hearing I gotta call them back. Maybe there's this like hankering feeling, like I have to close that chapter. And until I really, really, really also make peace with whatever that cycle was, I will, I'm hearing, forever be waiting for the button to close itself on the blouse. And I'm not about to wait. I'm hearing and make time out of money here. Interesting. Wow. So I don't know what that is alluding to, but there is maybe something that you feel is like it's also emotional, and it requires of you to really take a very close look at whatever is at hand on a level that is not just like, okay, I paid it off. Like for a number of you, there's a conversation you need to have. Now let's get into it. For a number of you, again, Mercury is in Libra again. We passed through Libra. We were like, okay, train, literally the Polar Express was like, we're going to the North Pole. We're going to the North Pole, everyone. We picked up a few people on the way. We stopped at the Mercury in Libra stations. 0 is the zenith degree of Libra through the 29th, and then we stepped into Scorpio, and we're moving through. And then it was like at 11 degrees of Scorpio, we were like, hold on. We paused. We paused the train ride, and we were starting to move backwards. We actually have officially already moved back into Libra officially. So we went through 11 full degrees of Scorpio before we started to move again backwards. So we're now moving back into the Libra energy that you might have sort of encountered back in September around. Thank you, Jamie, for connecting. Love and light to you. So very loving here for your dear connection. Oh, I'm hearing somebody wants to see you. I'm hearing that so strongly, Jamie. Oh my gosh, like I'm hearing they're in life with love with you. I don't know what that's 11 too. I'm hearing letter L. I'm hearing 11. Okay, now anyways, let's clear it. For a number of you, there is something that you feel like I had an opportunity to carry this out, and like maybe again for a number of you, this is in September. I had an opportunity to carry this out, and I didn't take it on completely. Maybe in some way maybe I did, but I didn't like seal the envelope with that one. I didn't seal the deal with that one. And for a number of you, it is possibly something. For example, just an example, let's say you met someone, right? I'm hearing Hammer Museum, I think it's in New York. Anyways, like you met someone, maybe like it was like, yes, like finally you're like waiting to meet with them. Now maybe like, you know, let's say your vision, you have some kind of broad sort of scope of a broad scope of a vision in terms of what this space, this relationship, this person, this conversation, even relation to this person means to you. Now let's say you happen to meet up with them in some way, and it was like, yay, okay, in some way you felt like something was also complete, okay, by way of that interaction. I'm hearing that as well. Now, what I'm getting is, you know, let's just say though that in that interaction you're like, well, I saw them, but I didn't press the button with them. I'm hearing that as well. Hello, Brenda. Thank you so much for tuning in. Now, what I'm getting is that there were, I'm hearing there were maybe too many factors at play at that time, but you know, maybe it was the kind of thing where it was like, oh, you know what, it's just not the right time. Okay, maybe like in the back of your mind even you're like, I'm gonna go into that investment meeting. I'm hearing that as well. I'm gonna present this, I'm hearing as well, to the president, and I'm going to make it completely, I'm hearing, come full circle. Now maybe, you know, there were a few steps, like once you arrived you're like, okay, I don't know if I'm gonna do it all today. I'm hearing that's just like something of that nature, like right off the bat you're just like, I don't know if I want to say everything that I was also planning to say. Now it could be on how many levels, it could be, you know, metaphorical, however else, but what I'm seeing for a number of you is that you know, then there is maybe this feeling of let's clear the ground. There are too many things involved. Interesting. So maybe you had like a plan. You're like, I want to get this all off the ground, like right here, right now. And then it was like, no, I think I have to actually wait on that. Now I'm seeing someone with a cowboy hat. Take it as you will. Now I'm seeing flashes of light. Now for a number of you, what I'm getting, and I'm seeing a flashing green light here as well. Well, flashes, more flashes. The feeling is, right, that when we move back into, that was maybe, you know, end of September, I'm hearing Sagittarius here so strongly. It was maybe this period of like stalling. I'm hearing that like ultimately, and then I'm getting, and this is a guided process, I'm hearing that for a number of you. Yes, I'm hearing still, let's clear it. I'm hearing, lighter. I don't know what that's linked to. For a number of you, this is very specific. You met someone and you were like, I don't know if they really like me. I don't know if also if it's if they're saying what they really feel. If they're very honest, I'm hearing that. Actually, like you were second guessing something. I'm seeing there isn't another train coming to pick them up. Don't worry. I'm hearing that as well. You're like, okay, now let's clear that. We'll maybe get into you know, a reading for some of the signs here, but for a number of you, are you in Boston? Interesting. Okay, now for a number of you, there is something that you're gonna revisit, and it's just that nature here that we see with the sun in Scorpio and almost everything retrograde. We're really digging things up. Pluto, the ruler of Scorpio as well, is in post shadow retrograde. Technically it's direct, but it's still in the post shadow, which is pretty still powerful when it comes to that sort of retrograde energy. You know, the way I see it is like, well, retrograde cycles, when they begin and when they end, that's like the middle of the term. Okay, you enter the class though, you start to learn and pick up on the material, or at least to review it in some way, depending on how you perceive it. But because, okay, whatever it is. Now, yeah, retrograde speak of memory cycles, so things that we tap back into. Thank you, Simon Tully, for tuning in. Love and light to you here. Thank you for connecting, and for your support, for everyone's support, and for your love and your light. Let's jump into it. Again here, what I'm seeing is that there is something maybe that you feel, you're in Canada here so strongly. There is something that, you feel you're getting back in touch with. Now, whatever it is, it could be on some sort of psychic level as well. Okay, so now, what it kind of is akin to is when you step into class, right? Let's say you start your new semester, okay? You just entered into that classroom. That's the pre-shadow retrograde period, sort of beginning. That's how I can sometimes sort of see it. Or describe it at least. That is like the class has begun. You might not have a test on that first day, but the class has begun, okay? The clock has like started and it's starting to tick. So we're sort of like already feeling the energy of the new semester, if I could say in that way, really sort of connecting with these energies. Now, when we go direct, maybe that's like your first, like, let's say semester test on that course material, and then we go through that period, you're in retro, and then we go direct. Technically we're not over yet with that class, we're just into that second term, maybe we're with that like maybe second to last test, and then when we have the post shadow period, we're at that last sort of period of the class session right before we step out for so-called good. And everything is cyclical, right? You cannot destroy energy, so we're just kind of reconnecting with certain paradigms. But what that period sort of teaches us is and it happens in waves and stages. So even if planets are direct, I want to like really emphasize this. It's like, it's not like poof. Okay, it's all kind of cyclical, and we're still sort of, I'm hearing auditioning. So I don't know what that's alluding to, but we have, again, if we consider the post shadow and the pre shadow, pretty much everything is retrograde except for Venus. So Saturn is in post shadow, Pluto is in post shadow. Let's clear it and ground. So the sun is currently in Scorpio. They're both rulers of Scorpio. Pluto and Mars, they're both somewhat either retrograde or post shadow. So Mars is retrograde. Now Mars is also in Aries, so it's like really riled up. Okay, it's really, the concept of temper is a matter of quality versus quantity. I don't know, when I'm hearing filming, I don't know what that was linked to. Okay, anyways, now, what were we saying? We have a lot here. Yes, now Mercury is also, it was in Scorpio, and then it was like, oh, wait. And so it moved back into Libra. It's like we are reviewing once more already. We're already reviewing, given that it's retro, but we're reviewing once more the beginning, the latter part of Libra. So that was the end, sort of, let's say mid part to end of September, I think. Yep, right about, I don't know how far it's going to go into Libra, but might be in the 20 degrees. But anyways, it's got, right, this period that it's going to be, reviewing what we've already sort of, I'm hearing, planned, wow, in our mind's eye. So maybe for a number of you felt like, if you felt like I didn't have the chance to like fully also say what I wanted to say what I need to say, communicate what I was feeling, you will have the chance to do that. I'm hearing in November. I'm hearing that so strongly. So, yeah, and I'm hearing never say never. I don't know, that might be a particular message. Now, for a number of you, I'm hearing family. This is maybe something related to also your doctor. I don't know what that's linked to. For a number of you, there are maybe so many factors. Now, yeah, now, for a number of you, I'm hearing you've been waiting, there's something about timing. Delivery. I'm hearing deliverance. Okay, interesting. That's actually a card in the Tao Oracle, as I'm remembering here. But anyhow, so yeah, we've got a lot going on. The full moon in Taurus, though, will be accenting Venus energies, and Venus is direct. So it's not in post shadow, it's not in pre, it's not retro. It was retro not too long ago, but it is technically now clear. And so, the ruler of this full moon will be so-called ruler, will be direct, and there's so many factors. Now, it's interesting, we've had an accent on Venus with the last new moon as well. Thank you for your donation, BlackTube. Thank you for connecting. Love and light to you here. Thank you guys for tuning in. And, so this very strong focus on the concept of Venus, what it means to, I'm hearing for a number of you, make music. I'm hearing make love. What does that mean? What does that mean? Okay, spirit guides are like, no, sit down and answer the question. People are like in this tent, this carnival tent. They're walking around. They have like a pretzel in their hand. They're like listening to the sound feedback I'm hearing on the big screen. They're like looking up, they're like, that's interesting. It's like spirit guides are like, no, sit down. It's a real question. Really sit down. We gotta think about it, because for a number of you there could be something that you are being tested on. I don't know what figures you all, but there's something maybe that you feel like, I need to clarify this, maybe not for anyone but myself actually right now. So in other words, it's like, what do I love and what does it mean to make that thing? Wow. So it's like very interesting. For a number of you, you're questioning maybe, you know, your pressure. I'm hearing that. For a number of you, this is something that you have been feeling like pushed to move in the direction of, it's not random. Okay, I'm hearing that as well again. And there is a focus on what you I'm hearing what lifts your spirit as well. Yes, okay, because Venus is that sort of energy that's very you know, sort of sensational, even we can say, is very sort of aware of the dialect of the senses, where we can sort of engage with what we experience. Wow. And so yes, it could rule like color, texture, sound. But, you know, there is a question of what you sort of make within that space of maybe the concept that you feel passionate about. What do I make from that space? So how do I really interact, maybe for a number of you, with what I love? Let's clear it. Okay, I'm hearing Polly. Now, there could be a question as well of like, well, what about the judgment space in relation to what I love? And, you know, okay, so let's actually get the cards and we'll do a little wild card spread for the different sides here. And right off the bat, I'm hearing, I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I'm ready. I'm hearing that, like, specifically. So a little bit of nervous tension here. I'm hearing Taurus. And it's funny because this other deck, the Tau Oracle, was covered by my hat, and this hat was featuring in the Virgo read. I think it was the October 15th to the 31st reading. Yes, the extended. Yeah, and in another reading though, I think it was in one of the full moon and Taurus reads. Now, for a number of you, there's something, somebody is like they're really close to presenting something. It is nerve-wracking. Okay, it is, I'm hearing fantasy. Wow, the Hangman. Maybe for a number of you, you've had your eye on a space, but it's been more like in this imaginary state. Let's get, wow, we almost dropped all the cards, yeah. Wheel of Fortune in the main stack. Okay. Some of you are feeling a little bit out of control, Ten of Swords, but it's like in the way of saying, I feel so out of control that like I realize I'm not in control to begin with. Anyways, like if I could feel so out of control, it's like, well, okay, I never really needed to have control apparently, or I never felt like I had the control to begin with. Like there's something that has maybe for a number of you become clear, or it's like kind of ironic even. It's like, yeah, I don't need to prove this. I'm hearing slash, you know, kind of like, prepare. I'm hearing prepare for this. 1 second. Let's clear it. Yeah, there's something that you feel is almost like impossible. There's no point. You're like, I don't need to think about this anymore. I'm hearing that as well. Something has reached a point of no return in a certain way. With the Ten of Wands in reverse, the Ten of Swords upright, it's like at this point, I'm just gonna show up. Like the rain has come down so hard on my head. I might as well, or on me, whatever it is. And it could be in the way of saying that you're in love. It's like, hey, yeah, I'm in love, and that's fantastic. For me, but not only, but for everyone here. Interesting with the Two of Cups. 1 second. Yeah, this is something that someone was like bobbing in and out with. Well, it's kind of uncomfortable. It's like I'm seeing someone was in the darkness and then they like stepped out of the darkness. What brought them into the light, and I don't know what this is alluding to for everyone, but it could be, you know, kind of metaphorical. It's like what brought me forward to also present this aspect of what I feel was the feeling itself. In the moment that I was vulnerable enough with that feeling to step forward and just feel it in a way of saying, yes, it's me, and this is what I feel, that's when I felt the weight of, I'm hearing my past. Wow, I'm hearing that as well with the moon. So for a number of you, you're healing possibly your characterization of what you love. Interesting. Yeah, there's a lot that maybe you feel you extend in this space as well. This is something that you want to eat. I don't know what that's linked to with the Judgment card and the Two of Cups and the Son of Wands. Okay, it's something like that you partake in for pleasure. I'm hearing that with the Two of Cups and the Judgment card. Now, for a number of you, you got 3 10s here. This is something that possibly you are also announcing. Itching my nose right there. This is something that you've been feeling coming as well, okay? I'm hearing it's not like sudden news. I'm hearing that as well. However, the way that you present this can come off in a way that's like, whoa, that's kind of like serious. I'm hearing that in comparison to what we have been sort of storytelling about. Maybe in the way of saying it feels real. It feels really real, the way in which we now present also to what we love, maybe to who we love. So for a number of you, no question, this is something or someone who you have been dreaming about, that has been in the back of your mind, that you've been really meditating on, ruminating on, that you've been in love with. And it's like, at a certain point, we have to just come out and say, yeah, that is what I'm hearing completes me. And yeah, it may make the Son of Wands look like he was at the party for no reason. Interesting. 1 second. Like, but that depends on the perspective. So maybe some people say, well, you go to the party for, XYZ reasons. But then, it's like, I'm imagining like the Son of Wands, like, comes out and says, well, you know what? I don't come here for that, actually. I'm hearing, I come here for you. I'm hearing that relating to the Hangman. So this is Pisces energy. It is Neptunian energy. It is Jupiterian energy. It's 12th house energy, water energy. It ultimately embodies the archetype of also compassion, healing, empathy. That's that empathy energy that we see really with Pisces. For a number of you, it is also very healing energy. For a number of you, you're just realizing, yeah, that's what I want to feel. I want to feel that love just come through also in what I do, in the way that I carry my work out. This is for a number, you're like, I'm tired of acting like I don't give a shit. I'm hearing that as well, that I don't feel these things that I feel. I'm hearing that as well. Like, I do feel deeply for what I do. I do feel that I have that sensitivity also to the needs of others. And for a number of you, it might be something that you want to accent your work with. You're like, I know that I have this capacity. Why would I not, focus on that in the future? Interesting. I'm hearing that. Okay. So for a number of you, this is maybe a new way that you want to carry out your work, or something where you feel like I want to start incorporating this more so into my work. For a number of you, I'm hearing it's something that you're relieving, it's something you're revealing, it's something that you're remembering, actually. I'm seeing that with the Son of Wands and the Judgment card. This is an epiphany even possibly for a number of you that you're having, where you're like, this is seriously what I want to do. I'm hearing that with my life. Judgment here upright, and the Sun of Wands is looking into the future right over the moon. I'm hearing, I just need to call it myself out. I'm hearing finally. Now, I'm hearing, I feel you. I'm hearing, I feel you, babe. I'm hearing that with the Judgment card, the Son of Wands. Wow. There is a very sensitive space that somebody holds, maybe even in a certain way, maybe for someone. You have the moon here mirroring the Hangman, the Judgment card. Somebody like wants to tell someone, this is such a specific message probably for a number of you. They're like, I want to tell you, like, also how much you know this. 1 second, the Hangman, the moon. Somebody wants to like confirm even. Is this a spirit guide? Okay, we just split to the Strength card. Two Swords. For no. I don't care if it's Mercury retrograde. I'm going to put that one slide in the PowerPoint. And if it doesn't show up on its own, I'm going to act it out. Ace of Wands upright, Two Swords. Two Swords literally just bent out. I'm hearing that way from the Son of Wands card who's looking in the future. This is like in the subconscious mind. It's like, what decision do we make? It led to the Ace of Wands. Whatever we do at the show, we're going to play that one song for them, for that person. And I'm hearing, I don't care who, will win the contest after that. So let's clear it. Yeah, this person's like, look, someone's letting go of their reputation as well in this space. They're like, it's not important to me anymore. It's very interesting because with the Son of Wands, we see, it could be like Mr. Popularity sort of energy or Mrs. Popularity. I'm hearing Mrs. Takes you, let's clear it. Not necessarily related to any kind of gender, but Son of Wands is that, sort of the youthful energy maybe that we see. Someone maybe at a certain point was feeling like psyched out by this connection. I'm hearing that with a Hangman as well. And then it got to the point where they were like, why should I hide it? I'm hearing that like so specifically. Let's get a few more cards out, and maybe they felt like, well, it's complicated. I'm hearing it varies, and we split to the world as well. It's mirroring the Two of Cups. I split the deck again. We split to the High Priestess. So, yeah, for a number of you, this is related to a huge crowd of people, a huge audience, and it's like at a certain point, Ace of Wands and the Sun upright. I'm hearing it's just not even funny anymore. I'm hearing it's not funny. I'm hearing how long I've been hiding this emotion. I'm hearing that with the Hierophant in reverse, the Star upright. Someone's been in hiding. That's been so painful. It's been so. Three Swords upright. I'm hearing the Hierophant in reverse. Biting the tongue hurts more than just the body. I'm hearing more than just the tongue. It hurts the whole being. I'm hearing it in that way. And truly, if you imagine, right, on an energetic level, everything is has a counterpart to it. Okay? When you don't say what you really feel, that's not just you not talking. It's also something that is taking place on a sort of psychic level as well. We could say in that way, emotionally. If you imagine psychic ability, is that related to some kind of plane that we're aware of in some way that is related to the emotional body? So in other words, let's say we have an impulse or we have a hunch, we want to do something, we want to say something, we want to express something, but then we hold that back, right? In some way, we're still sort of communicating in relation to that space, but we're communicating a space of stagnancy around it. So in other words, us not saying what we really feel is us placing a sort of scaffolding around and about our discussion with our heart self. So in other words, we're still saying it in some way, but we're just sort of we're whispering it, and that could place a strain on another part of, let's say, the being. And that, so let's say it in this way as well. Imagine your body, right? Like, let's say like you rely only on like one or two main muscles to get your workout done, right? At a certain point, right, that's going to play a certain role in the rest of the body. How many of you are aware of how the body sort of functions? Kinesthesia, I think, is that what it's called, kinesthesiology or something like that, where you work with the body, and let's say you are an athlete or whatever it is, putting too much strain on one part of the body is not just like, oh, I'm gonna like just work that part of the body, but there will always be the sort of butterfly effect to what is then impacted by way of that. So, for a number of you, that holds as well on an emotional level, right? So for a number of you, there's something that you really, really, really also feel is your destiny, and you feel that it's now time, not because it's like, okay, it's 2:00 on Tuesday, but because you feel like time actually is irrelevant. It's a passion that is pushing me to pursue this. The Ace of Pentacles in reverse, I'm here also pursuing me to pursue it. So for a number of you, oh yes, again the Star here, upright. Ace of Pentacles in reverse, you're like, I create my own destiny, there's no point in not going. It became silly. This is for a number of you. It became silly. Thank you, Simanteli, again for your donation. Oh my. Oh my, thank you for your dear connection here. The Two of Swords here, right over the Ace of Pentacles. For a number of you, it became, it's like looking at someone who you feel, you know what, I want to marry them. I'm hearing that as well. I just want, and whatever that means anything to you, right? You can marry someone without a contract, right, as well. And what does that really mean? Possibly. Maybe that's how you are now perceiving this space. And what, again, is marriage to you? That could be, again, what you're sort of saying. Okay, now, for a number of you, there is this feeling of, like, you've looked at this person, like, for the last 40 years. I'm hearing that as well of your life. I don't know, it could be also a friend. And it's, like, get to the point where you just, like, you go, like, this. I don't want to be stupid. I mean, this for a number of you. I would be stupid. I'm seeing, looking at yourself, Taurus, you're like, I would be stupid. I'm hearing to call them out as, I'm hearing this for now, I have to say it, I don't know, take it as you will, just my mistress. I'm hearing that as well with the Mother of Cups in reverse. For a number of you, this is someone who you have had an experience with, possibly. It's someone who you have had a memory with. I'm hearing that as well. It's somebody who possibly you have a place in your heart for, and it may not be that you were married, whatever else has happened, but, and I'm not excusing anything here in any way, but I'm, the Hierophant in reverse and the Mother of Cups in reverse, there is something of an energy here where maybe for a number of you, you told yourself, oh, no, it's off limits. I can't experience that kind of love. And this can be something that you feel on a level that is, kind of like, I'm hearing psychic, interesting, where, take it as you will. This can be related to past lives, very, very dense here with the Mother of Cups in reverse and the Hierophant in reverse, where you're like, it's forbidden. I can't go there. I'm hearing, and it's so, for a number of you, it's shameful in a certain way, because you feel like, it's what I love, though. I'm hearing this, like, so strongly. but it's what I want. And that's where the ridiculousness of it comes forth with the Son of Wands upright. For a number of you, you're holding back, okay, from something. And, you know, again, this can be on an emotional level where you were like, I'm just forgetting who I am in the space of relating to what I love. It's very interesting. I'm seeing you show up in a space, you're like, you show up with that emotion, but then you show up as presenting it as someone else. Wow. So it's like, for a number of you, feel like there's a mismatch there. And that is really, really painful. For a number of you, there's somebody who you know who's like just a friend. I'm hearing that as well, the Mother of Cups in reverse. And you don't want to play that game anymore. I'm hearing with them, you want to take it to the next level, possibly. We're going to get more energy cards here, possibly. Now, let's clear the ground. For a number of you, yeah, it gets to the point where it is kind of silly. We start to see it as silly. It's no longer, you know, a system of how far can I go without saying this. Also, like, you know, it starts to just become just silly. And with the Moon upright mirroring the Hierophant reverse, we have really no one else, I'm hearing, to so-called blame but ourselves in that space of, well, why am I not taking action on what I love? And then that's when we sort of see ourselves as also the I'm hearing the pillar that leads to the I'm hearing the neck of the neck of the I'm hearing Taurus. Interesting. That is like Taurus. Okay, but like in Italian, I guess. Taurus. I'm seeing like the bull. Okay, the neck of the bull. It's like, yeah, no, let's clear it. For number, you've been making sacrifices. You've been focusing on your work. You've been focusing on, like, you know, your so-called like successes. I'm hearing that as well. I'm hearing Leo, Libra. You've been totally, for a number of you, like obsessed with your work, with your finances, and that's completely taken over. I'm hearing smothered. It's sort of like smoldered the flame of maybe what you're feeling in certain experiences. It could be also, yeah, it's like I don't have time for that. I feel like I've just kind of I've subdued that part of me. Interesting. Let's clear it. Thank you, Chanel Dupree, for tuning in. Love and light to you. And for a number of you, there is something that you yeah, this is someone who you've known. It's someone who you'll know who this is. I'm hearing, let's clear it, WL. There is a co-star for some show. Let's clear it. I don't know what that's linked to. Anyways, yeah, no, you haven't forgotten whatever this is. Let's clear it. It was something very sentimental, very, very important to you. Like, the factor that is the binding force here is the emotion. That's like that's the sugar that's caramelized in the cake. I'm hearing that keeps the layers of it together. I don't know what that's going to, but take it as you will. So how I'm seeing it, it's like this, something that has stayed with you. I'm hearing that as well. They're also maybe very sweet, very, very sweet, like very compassionate. For a number of you, maybe they carried you off. I'm hearing in a stretcher one time. I don't know, that could be metaphorical. Like they helped you with something, and it was so telling, maybe for a number of you, of what you would one day tell them. Wow. But like, you felt like I never got the chance to really give them back what I felt they deserved. Wow. Well, what I mean, I fell in love with them like in the very beginning. There's no question about that. It wasn't like I needed to look in, you know, into your eyes even. At that point, it would have. I'm hearing it would have already melted. I'm hearing on the cone as I see. I'm hearing who you are. Wow, it was like immediate. It was so apparent at the very beginning of also this interaction. So maybe for a number of you, I'm hearing that was the scary thing. Was that, hey, like, I see everything that unfolds. I see everything so clearly, and I need to accommodate that feeling. So for a number of you, this is a you know, let's clear it, a memory though, you know, simply that you feel I can't shake. And there's no point trying to shake it, okay? Because the longer I wait to try and see if it will also fly out like a tick on my back, the more I realize that it's not a tick, and I don't want it to talk like one as well for me. Wow. So in other words, you want to take this into your own hands. I'm hearing Leo with Leo. I'm hearing Scorpio very strongly here as well. Let's clear it. Some of you, there's Scorpio who is possibly very interested in you. Right there, the moon. Right there, the moon. They have maybe a moon in Scorpio. For some of you, 2 planets in Scorpio. I'm hearing they're starting a new gig. One second. I'm hearing Grammys. I'm hearing that very strongly. They could be a musician. They could be a playwright. I'm hearing that as well. I'm tasting like boogers. I don't know what that's linked to. There could be a particular message. Maybe they are very sensitive. I'm hearing that as well. Hierophant and the Hangman. They love you. Stop that. This is like almost like a reading that just like I can't go on, Jack. I'm hearing this specifically. It's like I don't know. I just don't know. It's like Jack and Rose. It's like, but they're kind of reversed. I don't know what that's going to. It's like, I can't go on, Jack. Like, I'm hearing this like specifically. No. I can't take this. I'm hearing that as well. Father of Pentacles reverse. Like, Mother of Cups in reverse. Like, I don't like looking at you. Like, we're submarine, conversation, like, under the water, and we're, like, blowing each other kisses. Like, it's gotta be, like, out in the open. Now, let's clear it. Ace of Pentacles upright is what the Father of Pentacles in reverse has his eye on. High Priestess, you both know what this means to both of you. Possibly. It's a general reading. Always take it as well. But there's something here that has not been brought, I'm hearing, as a cake. I'm hearing forward for the patrons, like, if we can say it that way. I don't know, maybe it's like a sort of an under, I'm hearing under the sea kind of love. Ace of Swords upright, Ten of Wands upright. It's just gotten to a point that's silly, though. I'm hearing it again in this way, but you know what? Okay, like, even if that is the case, right, the star tumbling out there, there's a reason for everything. If we have sort of reverse and rewind, how many times has it been, right, that you, like, left your house? You were like, okay, I'm going to leave the house. Like, I'm going to leave at 4 p.m. today. Ends up being, like, 6 p.m. for whatever reason. You ended up, like, trying to get the clock to work in your house. Something ironic, okay? Now, it's like, then you leave the house. You're like, okay. You get to the place that you were supposed to get at, like, 2 hours later. And then you happen to bump into someone there. And it was a totally serendipitous sort of interaction. There's always a reason for everything, right? We could have a so-called plan. So don't, I'm hearing delete the bloopers out, the bleepers out. I'm hearing that as well for a number of you. There were certain parts of this connection where it was just like, we had a Corona mask kind of conversation. I don't know what that's linked to, where it's like, you felt like we were so fake with one another. We weren't able to really, like, for me, we were faded. This could be a metaphor. It's like, we didn't really come out and, like, really say what we both felt, what we both knew we both felt. Like, we didn't say what we needed to say. I'm hearing that as well. And, like, you both kind of knew it. Yeah, it was so obvious. The sun upright. Like, I'm hearing I was falling in love with you, duh. It was just, like, so duh. But, like, I told you, like, do not disturb. I, like, said, oh, sorry, I can't talk about that today. Like, So anyways, whatever it was, there's also a reason for that. The reason why we were also with, I'm hearing Martika. Wow. I'm hearing Robbins. I'm hearing Stefan right there as well. For a reason, let's clear it. I'm hearing Millie. I'm hearing Mila. I don't know. Let's clear it. Yeah. This was so faded, actually. Even the pain part too, with the Three of Swords upright, 10 of Pentacles in reverse. It was everything played a certain role. And even on this sort of macro scale, when we so-called zoom out of this experience, we say, whoa, that really served. we really needed that punch of paint in that one part of the portrait to really make the eyes, I'm hearing also stand out, wow, to make the eyes pop. Now, I don't know what that was going to do with the Son of Wands. Like, I'm seeing someone trying to make something also very clear in something that they wanted to pick to someone. So they're like, well, you know what, actually the part in the movie where we sold each other's shows, I'm hearing also to other people, yeah, that really served, because then down the line, it allowed us to really process also that emotion, the pain of also not having what you really want. Sometimes it helps you to better, at least, directly address it. So in other words, it's like when I feel the feeling of not having what I want, then I'm like, yes, that's what I want. I'm hearing it as well in that way. It's like it becomes then sort of like a, I'm hearing a creative, wow, I'm seeing something that almost like it rises. It's like molten. It's like we look at the volcano as a volcano, but like within the volcano, right, the magma. When do we see the magma actually, right? When do we look at the volcano and say, well, it's just a volcano? But at what point do we see that it is a volcano, right? Really, we see the magma with it. Magma within the volcano is when it erupts, right? So it's that point for a number of you that was actually very important with the Three of Swords. We had to feel the feeling of not having. I'm hearing, you know, that's I'm hearing that for a number of you, I'm hearing that at heart conversation. For a number of you, that sit down, talk with them. Wow, very interesting about this. Like, where we say, hey, I'm gonna just say it directly. I'm gonna come out and just like say it super directly. Hey, like, I am feeling you, like, period. Like, you know, and I'm hearing, so what? You know, like, so what? Maybe there was a factor here that was like involved that made the space tricky, and like maybe it was controversial for a number of you. And maybe someone is hesitating, maybe in the way of not saying, well, not necessarily, oh, I don't want to talk about it, it's like weird and controversial, but I just don't know how to naturally also talk about this. For a number of you, is something where you're like, well, I never experienced this, so I don't know how to handle something like this. So let's clear it possibly. I'm hearing hide. I'm hearing height. I'm hearing height as well with the Hierophant. Now, silly. I'm hearing that again. silly. I'm seeing someone trying to call someone up. They keep getting like this dial tone. For a number of you, maybe there was a focus on actually communication, like, and it could be a metaphorical dial tone. I keep trying to really connect with them, and like every time, like, I keep just getting like, I'm hearing also Cleopatra's voicemail, and it just tells me that I am like a sticker without a, I'm hearing a bon. I'm hearing a bonfire. I'm hearing what? Hold on. A bonfire? Bonnie and Clyde, I'm hearing as well. Conversation to go along with it. Like, someone felt like something was ridiculous, kind of. I'm hearing that again. Like, they looked at themselves, maybe even in the space of, like, carrying out this passion. They were like, it's so awkward. Like, I don't know why I'm not saying this. I'm hearing that again. Why would I, you know, it's kind of like, it feels like a murder mystery novel. I'm hearing that as well, that, like, no one really looks in the mirror for. I'm hearing it in that way as well. Like, everyone's just, like, deleting evidence. I'm hearing that as, one second. Everybody's ignoring, yeah. Well, for a number of you, this is, like, written all over the wall, okay? Where it was just, like, so obvious on your part, on their part, like, we have feelings for another, possibly, and I don't know what this is only for everyone, so always, you know, meditate on what this means for you, possibly. You got to make your own executive decision with this, right? We're reading on how many, so, you know, people here, so you got to interpret it in the way that you do. Judgment here with the Ace of Pentacles, you know, and this can be a perspective, but, well, yeah, it could be a perspective, but it could also be, you know, the perspective of another. So, you know, don't get too sticky with certain, I'm hearing also statements that are made, so I don't know, let's clear it, 1 second. Yeah, like, for a number of you, someone was just, like, ignoring. I'm hearing the bona fide moment. I'm hearing that moment. Someone is also taking something really seriously. I'm hearing that. And, like, they got to the point where they're just, like, I feel like I'm trying to make everything perfect, and it's not even about that at the end of the day. I'm hearing that with the star. I'm trying to make everything perfect, and then it's just, like, it's not about that even. It's just about saying what I really feel at the end of the day. It's really that simple. I'm hearing that with a star. For a number of you, I'm hearing I can't give any notice to that as well. Like, some of you were like, well, I want to prepare them for like the message and like blah blah blah. No. At a certain point you're like, I can't prepare them for this either, this experience. I have to just be honest, straight up honest, and just be like, hey, this is what I feel. Hey, yeah. Right. Yes, it's a shock to you, it's a shock to me as well that I'm doing this. Empress upright. For a number of you, it's interesting. It's awkwardly, uncomfortably honest. I'm hearing that as well. Hyper's like, someone's like coming out there like, hey, I know that we both have feelings for each other. Okay, I'm hearing blame it on the, I'm here on the alcohol. Like, I don't know what that's linked to. Ace of Cups right there, though. Okay. Someone is they feel like there are I'm hearing activations happening at the same time. Interesting. Well, there are things that are aspects I'm hearing there are aspects of this experience that are I'm hearing the translation of the passion kind of problematic, possibly. That doesn't mean that it's problematic, but it's just the scale I'm hearing of representation in relation to other things in maybe the room that make it feel awkward. 1 second. For a number of you, it's like in this way. When I'm in my room, well, if I say what I feel, it's all good. But when I say what I feel and then I look around the room and I see who just saw what I said, I'm hearing that as well. maybe in a professional way, maybe in a public way, related to reputation, then I feel like I am freezing. I'm hearing that as well in real time. So I'm hearing animal, and the animals beat the track. I don't know what that's about, but yeah, again though, it's just a shame. It really is. Like, it gets to the point where you feel maybe that way, like, and it may not be in the way of I'm sulking, I'm lonely, I'm so lonely, like, I have nobody, like, to call my own in my home. I'm hearing that as well, like, I am freaking lonely. I'm hearing that with the death card. Ten of Swords upright, Ace of Wands upright, Two of Cups upright, and then it gets to the point where it's like, what am I doing? Five Pentacles at the base of the Ten of Swords. What am I doing? Just like sitting here, I'm hearing all alone. I'm hearing that also in the dark. Like, so maybe for a number of you, it gets to the point where you're like, I'm just done feeling that way, and it might not be like this whole, it may not be like I'm drunk on Saturday and like with zero, I'm hearing friends. I don't know what that's alluding to. Let's clear it. It's like, it's not maybe necessarily like in the way of you kind of like going through a lengthy, I'm hearing alterations process. I'm hearing those with the Strength card and the Ace of Swords, but it's more so this has gotten real. I'm hearing real, Nine of Cups and the Judgment card, and real fast, where it's like sudden awakening, sudden epiphany, sudden like, I don't want to be doing this. Oh yeah, okay, so let me just do that, you know, kind of thing. No, the world is in reverse. The second time it's come through in reverse. I wonder why. Why is that? Why is it in reverse? For a number of you, this is something you want to come through and announce. It has to do with the announcement. I'm hearing you want to go up to someone and like say something, and this person's like, what? Wait, what? Whoa, how? Who? What? And it's like, I'm hearing "'cause I said so." I'm seeing someone professing love, but like in a startling manner. I'm hearing that as well. They show up at the shop. I'm hearing this for a number of you. It's just the context for a number of you. It's real. And that's the only way that I can really define it and describe it, is like, it just feels real. It feels surreal. Maybe for a number of you, you've like known someone in a professional setting. Like, yeah, for a number of you, you've known someone in a professional setting for a really long time. And it's like, you've only seen them technically in that way, like, to this point. Like, what I mean by seeing them is like, every time you physically see them and interact with them, it's like, let's say at work. And then it's like, this is the first time, or whatever it is. It's like in a professional mindset. Now, then it gets to the point where you're like, and it could be you with your audience, right? Where you're like, okay, I'm always professional with them. And then now it's like, boom. We are like, also, I'm hearing the supernova. I'm hearing that Mother of Pentacles, the bright Father of Pentacles in reverse. Wow. Like, someone is going to definitely be stepping down. I'm hearing that as well from a certain platform, like, so that they can, or this is some kind of even like surrender. I'm hearing that, or some kind of like stepping, well, how do we say it? Like, I'm seeing someone's like, here I am. Oh, I'm hearing that song. So take a look at me now. Like, someone's like, they're going down on one knee. It's like, honky honk right there. They're like, I surrender to this. I surrender to this. One second. They sacrifice. That's the word. They step into also the light. I'm hearing that with the Father of Pentacles reverse, looking at the devil of all people. I'm hearing the devil. It's like I'm seeing someone like in an audience, like they're proposing to someone. They look at someone to help assist in the presentation. Of all people, they look at the sheriff. I'm hearing that, like, who happens to be in town around them. I don't know, maybe this is something even like serendipitous. Like, it's like someone, it's like I'm seeing someone even passing like a bouquet of flowers to like a police officer in the parlor. I don't know what that was into. in the palace. I'm hearing that of wonder. I'm hearing pleasure. I don't know what that was about. The bouncer, even, I'm hearing that. It's just like something random, even. It's like the police is like holding this like bouquet of flowers. They're like, okay, I don't know what we're doing with all of the dirt in the pot. I'm hearing that as well. They're looking down in the pot. They're just like, it's like last minute. It's like confusing. Now let's clear it. Yeah, it's like someone, I'm hearing the police in the in the party, like, I'm hearing, pardon me, miss. Okay, now Taurus, thank you for tuning in. Love the light to you here. Maybe let's talk a little bit more about Astro now. Back into Astro a little bit. We have, yet again, like, a lot of planets here retrograde. We have Venus, again, is the only planet that is direct technically. Pluto and Mars, both the rulers of Scorpio, are in retro. Then we have Saturn here in post shadow. Let's clear it in ground. We got here long-term cycles that are being brought up for review. It gets a history, you know, on every level. Okay, like, not just like we wrote that contract, but like, what did we also, you know, kind of like instill in that frame that we put on the wall on an energetic level? Like, when we signed that paper, what were we feeling in that moment? What are we now saying about it today? Interesting. Let's clear it. Yeah, like, so things will be coming up. Let me say karma coming up for review. I'm hearing Carl Sagan. I'm hearing that. Wow, he's anyways, author. I'm hearing is a side note winner. I'm hearing side note. Let's clear it. Some site. I'm hearing is on site. I'm hearing that as well. On site. Son of Pentacles in reverse. So you know, we all have Taurus as well, some in our chart. So, you know, there are going to be things possibly that we have been also in a certain way, again, working with the concept of that just brought up in a new way. Love and light to you all here. Thank you guys for tuning in. Enjoy this pair, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.